Welcome back to English at Work. I'm Jenny.
And I'm Alex. Today, we're tackling a topic that I think literally everyone has experienced at some point in their career.
Oh yeah, micromanaging bosses. Those managers who need to control every tiny detail of your work, question every decision you make, and basically hover over your shoulder like a helicopter.
And the worst part, they usually don't think they're micromanaging. They think they're being detail-oriented or hands-on.
Right, but there's a huge difference between being supportive and being suffocating.
So today's story is about Tom. He's a project manager at a marketing agency. He's been in his role for 5 years. He's good at his job. He knows what he's doing.
And then the company hires a new director, Jennifer. Jennifer is Tom's new boss, and from day one, it's clear that Jennifer has a very particular management style.
By particular, you mean she needs to approve every email, review every document, and know exactly what Tom is doing every hour of every day.
Exactly. Let's jump into the story. So it's Jennifer's first week. Tom is working on a client proposal, something he's done hundreds of times before.
He finishes the draft and sends it to Jennifer for review, as requested. Standard process.
10 minutes later, Jennifer calls him. Tom, can you come to my office? I want to go through this proposal together.
Tom walks in thinking this will be a quick review. Maybe she'll have a few suggestions and he'll make the changes.
Instead, Jennifer has printed out the proposal, all 20 pages, and covered it in red pen. Every single page has comments.
So, Tom, let's start with page 1. I think this font is too large. Can we make it 11 point instead of 12? And this paragraph, I'd move it down here. And this word, utilize, let's change it to use.
She goes through every single page for an hour and a half.
And Tom is sitting there thinking, these are incredibly minor changes. None of this affects the actual strategy or content.
But he says, sure, no problem. I'll make those updates.
He goes back to his desk, makes all the changes, which takes another 2 hours, and sends the revised version to Jennifer.
30 minutes later, she sends it back with more edits. Actually, let's move that paragraph back to where it was. And can you change the font to 11.5?
11.5? Who uses 11.5 font?
At this point, Tom realizes this is going to be a problem.
Okay, let's pause here and talk about what micromanagement actually looks like, because sometimes it's not obvious at first.
Right, so what are the signs of a micromanaging boss?
First sign, they need to review or approve everything. Even minor decisions you should be able to make independently.
Second, they want constant updates. Like every hour they're asking, what are you working on now? Where are you with that project?
Third, they give you a task, but then they tell you exactly how to do it step by step, leaving no room for your own judgment.
Fourth, they redo your work or make unnecessary changes just to put their stamp on it.
And fifth, they can't delegate without hovering. They give you responsibility, but no actual authority.
Now, here's the tricky part. Sometimes micromanagement comes from insecurity. The manager doesn't trust themselves, so they can't trust you.
Sometimes it's a control issue. They need to feel in charge of everything.
And sometimes, and this is important, it's actually about you. If you're new or you've made mistakes, a manager might micromanage because they don't have confidence in your abilities yet.
So the first question Tom needs to ask himself is this about me or is this about her?
Let's get back to the story and find out. Over the next 2 weeks, Tom realizes that Jennifer micromanages everyone on the team, not just him.
She's in constant meetings. She wants to be CC'd on every email. She reviews every social media post before it goes out, every client communication, every internal memo.
The team starts working slower because they're waiting for Jennifer's approval on everything.
And the quality of work actually gets worse because people stop thinking for themselves. They just wait to be told what to do.
One day, Tom is sending a simple email to a client to confirm a meeting time. Jennifer stops by his desk.
Tom, before you send that, can you forward it to me? I want to make sure the tone is right.
It's literally a 3-sentence email. Hi, John. Confirming our meeting for Thursday at 2 p.m. Looking forward to discussing the Q3 campaign. Best, Tom.
Tom forwards it to Jennifer. She sends it back with edits. Change hi to hello. And instead of looking forward to discussing, say, I look forward to our discussion regarding.
The changes make the email sound more formal and less personal. Tom actually thinks his version was better, but he makes the changes anyway.
And this is what micromanagement does. It strips away your judgment, your voice, your confidence.
Tom is starting to feel like he's not even doing his job anymore. He's just executing Jennifer's instructions.
So he decides he needs to do something. But what?
Tom schedules a one-on-one with Jennifer. He's nervous, but he knows he needs to address this.
He starts diplomatically. Jennifer, I wanted to check in about how we're working together. I want to make sure I'm meeting your expectations.
Smart opening. He's not complaining, he's asking for feedback.
Jennifer says, I think things are going well. You're very responsive to my edits.
That's good to hear. I'm wondering if we could discuss the review process, though. I want to make sure I'm using both of our time efficiently.
What do you mean?
Well, for example, with client emails and routine communications, those are things I've been doing for years. I'm wondering if there are certain types of communications where you'd be comfortable with me sending them without prior review.
Watch Jennifer's reaction here. Oh, well, I like to make sure everything is consistent and on brand. It only takes me a few minutes to review.
I understand. I'm just thinking about your bandwidth. You're reviewing a lot of material from the whole team. What if I sent you a weekly summary of client communications instead of individual emails?
Jennifer pauses. Let me think about it. For now, let's keep the current process.
And Tom realizes she's not going to change, not from one conversation.
So he needs a different strategy.
Tom decides to try something. He's going to try to build Jennifer's trust gradually by proving his competence.
How does he do this?
First, he starts anticipating her questions and concerns. When he sends something for review, he includes a note. Hi, Jennifer. Here's the proposal. I've highlighted the key changes from our last discussion and flagged 2 areas where I'd particularly appreciate your input.
Smart. He's showing he's thinking ahead and he's being strategic about where he needs her input.
Second, he starts sending her brief daily updates proactively. Morning, Jennifer. Today, I'm working on the ABC client presentation and following up with the XYZ team. We'll have the media plan to you by 3 p.m.
Why is this helpful?
Because it satisfies her need for control without her having to constantly check in. She knows what he's doing, so she's less anxious.
Oh, that's clever. He's managing up.
Exactly. Third, when she makes minor edits that he disagrees with, he stops fighting them. He just makes the changes. He saves his pushback for things that actually matter.
So he's picking his battles.
Right. And slowly, over about 2 months, Jennifer starts to trust him more. She's still involved, but she's not editing his 3-sentence emails anymore.
But here's the thing. She's still micromanaging the rest of the team.
Tom's colleague, Maria, comes to him frustrated. How are you dealing with Jennifer? She's driving me crazy. She spent an hour yesterday reviewing my PowerPoint slides, changing the shade of blue in the graphics.
Tom shares what's been working for him. I've been trying to anticipate her needs and give her information before she asks for it. It seems to help.
Maria tries this approach too, and gradually the whole team figures out how to work with Jennifer's style.
But it's exhausting. Everyone is spending extra time managing their manager instead of just doing their jobs.
6 months in, the team's productivity metrics are down. Projects are taking longer. 2 team members quit.
And finally, Jennifer's boss, the VP of Marketing, notices.
The VP pulls Jennifer aside. I'm seeing some concerning patterns. Your team's output has decreased, and we've had turnover. What's going on?
Jennifer, to her credit, doesn't realize the problem is her management style. She thinks the team just needs more support.
The VP is more perceptive. She talks to team members individually, and the pattern becomes clear.
She suggests that Jennifer work with an executive coach. I think some leadership development would be valuable for you. Let's focus on delegation and building team autonomy.
Jennifer agrees, though she's a bit defensive about it. Over the next few months, with coaching, Jennifer starts to change, slowly.
She begins by identifying tasks that are high stakes versus low stakes. High stakes things she stays involved in. Low stakes things she lets go.
She sets up a system where team members have autonomy within clear guidelines. You can approve client expenses up to $5,000. Anything over that, loop me in.
She still struggles sometimes. Old habits are hard to break.
But the team appreciates that she's trying, and Tom, who managed to work with her even at her worst, becomes her trusted lieutenant.
A year later, Tom gets promoted to senior project manager. Jennifer has learned to delegate more, and the team is functioning better.
It's not perfect. Jennifer will probably always be more hands-on than ideal, but it's manageable.
Okay, so what can we learn from Tom's experience with a micromanaging boss?
First, understand why they're micromanaging. Is it insecurity, control issues, a bad experience with a previous employee? Understanding the why helps you figure out the how to deal with it.
Second, try to address it directly first. Have a calm, professional conversation where you ask for more autonomy. Don't accuse them of micromanaging. Ask how you can build their trust.
Third, if the direct conversation doesn't work, try managing up. Give them the information and control they need in a way that's efficient for both of you.
Fourth, document your work and your competence. Keep track of your successes. This builds the case that you can be trusted with more autonomy.
Fifth, pick your battles. Don't fight every minor edit or every small decision. Save your energy for the things that really matter.
Sixth, be patient. Building trust takes time. A micromanager isn't going to change overnight.
And seventh, and this is important, know when to leave. If the micromanagement is making you miserable and nothing you do improves it, sometimes the best solution is to find a new job.
Not every situation can be fixed, and your mental health matters more than any job.
When asking for more autonomy, I'd like to discuss how we can work together most efficiently. Are there areas where you'd be comfortable with me having more decision-making authority?
When providing proactive updates, I wanted to give you a heads up on what I'm working on today, so you have visibility into my priorities.
When pushing back on unnecessary oversight, I appreciate your attention to detail. To respect your time, what if I handle X independently and flag anything unusual for your review?
When suggesting a new process, I'm wondering if we could try a new approach for X. What if I sent you a weekly summary instead of individual approvals? We could try it for a month and see how it goes.
When you need to disagree with an edit, I understand your perspective on this. I originally wrote it that way because, reason, would you be open to keeping it, or do you feel strongly about the change?
When building trust, I want to make sure I'm meeting your standards. Can you share examples of work that meets your expectations so I can calibrate?
All of these phrases are respectful and collaborative while still advocating for yourself.
Here's the thing about micromanaging bosses. Sometimes they don't even realize they're doing it.
Right, in their mind, they're being thorough, detail-oriented, quality-focused.
But the impact on the team is real. It kills morale, destroys initiative, and creates dependency.
If you're dealing with a micromanager right now, remember, you have more power than you think. You can influence the dynamic through how you communicate, how you deliver work, and how you build trust.
But also remember, it's not your job to fix your manager. You can try, you can adapt, but if it's not working, it's okay to move on.
All right, that's it for today. Next week, we're discussing how to stop office gossip about you, because sometimes the most damaging thing at work isn't your boss, it's what your coworkers are saying behind your back.
If these episodes are helping you navigate workplace challenges, please share them with your colleagues. We're building a community here.
Thanks for listening to English at Work.
Keep your autonomy out there.